Everyone tells you the same lie that you need a degree, a resume, and 40 to 50 years stuck in a cubicle to actually make money and end up rich. And honestly, I believed that for a while. I thought success meant following the system, following the 9 to 5, subscribing to, the traditions of society. But the reality is the system wasn't built to make me rich, it was actually built to make me reliable. And once I realized that, I started carving my own path. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I went from zero at 18 years old to making multiple six figures in a year without a degree, without a 9 to 5, without burning out, just by mastering 5 key principles that I've learned along the way. So if you're at a point in life where you feel lost and you don't know where to go and you don't want to go down the traditional norms of society, listen up, because trust me, I was in your spot exactly 2, 3 years ago. Cool. Now, the first thing you have to understand is the world rewards execution, not credentials. I used to think that I need to qualify for success. I need to get the best college, the best degree, the right boss, the right moment, the right opportunity, the right pay. But eventually what I realized is no one's coming to save me. Nobody was coming to hand me like a piece of approval. And once I stopped waiting to be chosen and started choosing my life, choosing the path myself, everything switched for me. The world doesn't care about your background. It actually only cares about your values, your hard work, and skill set that you provide to other people. And this is very true because I've seen this in my own journey. When I started in high ticket sales, I was 18, fresh out of high school. I had absolutely zero experience, no degree, no network, didn't get any handouts. And what got me in the door wasn't a certificate, wasn't a degree. It was actually hunger. It was pure grit and motivation to become the best and get out of the situation that I was in. I mean, I'll give you an example of this. When I showed up on the interview to go on a high ticket sales opportunity as a setter, I basically said that, hey dude, if you hire me, I'm going to outwork every single person on your team because I have to make this work. I'm going to outwork every single one and learn the most and ask you the most questions and become the #1 sales reps in this entire team. And what's actually crazy is that ended up happening. I was outperforming people that had real degrees, outperforming people that had years and years of sales experience in the space. So the biggest takeaway here is stop asking for permission to start. No one needs to give you permission. You can make the decisions yourself. Cool. So the biggest takeaways here is stop asking for permission to start something. At the end of the day, you and your decisions dictate where your life is going to be. Another takeaway is skill set and real value is always greater than studying in school and knowledge in university. Always. And your work ethic and energy and results will speak louder than your resume ever will. Because at the end of the day, people hire based off who you are as a person, not off your credentials. But here's the thing. Working hard isn't enough. That won't cut it. Working hard in the right vehicle is equally, if not more important. Otherwise, you're just blindly punching in the dark. And what I realized was sales is the skill behind every success story that I saw. If you learn it, every door opens faster. Imagine, right? Think of the most successful people that you know in your life that make money, that you see online, that you see on YouTube, that you see on Instagram. If you actually talk to them and look at their journeys, you'll realize that all of them know how to sell. And they have that skill of high ticket sales. And the fastest path to six figures without a degree, it isn't coding, it isn't crypto, it isn't gambling, it isn't luck. It's actually communication. Learn how to influence, learn how to close, learn how to create value through conversation. And think about it. Having the ability to bring money into a business, is there a better skill than bringing money into a business? There isn't, right? Sales is the most ROI skill set and the most useful skill set you can have to any business owner. And I'll share a live example of this. When I was doing 40K a month in straight commissions, every single month in my profit with no base pay, just pure commissions, that just goes to show you can make so much money with high ticket sales. But that wasn't the best part. Because I was actually bringing money into a business, my offer owner, my company, actually flew me out to go to Bali in a full paid villa. We spent close to 100 grand in that week on, a nice villa, dinner, trips, flights, everything paid for to reward me because I'd made them so much freaking money. And that's why sales is the most important skill, because you actually bring value to other people. Now, that's not even the best part. The fact that I made 40K a month, travel the world, I'm company paid for everything. That's not even the best part. The best part is I now have the skill set of sales to go launch my own agency, to go launch my own company, to get into other businesses. And if you want to launch a business, whatever business it is, you need to learn sales. You're not going to succeed without having that skill set. So yeah, biggest takeaways here is if you learn sales, you'll literally never be broke again, and you can always make multiple six figures a year. If you obsess over persuasion, tonality, and emotional control, like you'll be able to succeed in anything in life, and really prioritize learning human behavior over anything, because that will pay more than any degree that you think of. Sweet. Now, knowing how to sell, it's cool. It's great. You know, you're making money, you're providing value, which is sick, but knowing how to sell doesn't automatically make you rich. The next shift is about discipline and structure. Because freedom without discipline, it's chaos. You can't get full-time results with part-time effort. Sweet. Knowing how to sell is great. You can make money, you can travel the world, you can have a life of freedom, but that is not, knowing how to sell isn't automatically going to get you there. It isn't automatically going to get you rich. The next shift is about discipline and structure. And what you have to realize is you can't get full-time results with part-time effort. Most people treat online business casually. Some people say something along the lines of, oh, I'll just try it out. I just want to make a little bit of money on the side. It might work, it might not work. I never did that. When I started an online business and high ticket sales, I treated my sales career like medical school. That's how intense I went into it. I studied call recordings, rehearsed script, networked, analyzed objections, tracked daily, while everyone else was just hoping to get lucky and just giving it a shot, and if it fails, it doesn't matter. I was building predictability, and that is exactly who luck favors. A lot of people say that, I got lucky or people get lucky. Luck favors those who work hard and do it over a long period of time. And that's what I was trying to do, making sure that I pretty much had a 100% chance of success. And I'll show a live example of not me, but actually one of my students within DSA, which is a sales community that I run. And his name is Kavindu. Kavindu started with me a couple months ago in high ticket sales. Cool story. I actually met him randomly at a birthday party, and he decided to go all in and get into high ticket sales. But I knew the moment that we stopped talking, he was going to succeed. And the reason for that is he used to work 40 hours a week at Specsavers, a retail store. And all the time outside of him working his 9 to 5, he would go all into high ticket sales. He would sacrifice his sleep. He'd give it 110%, which is why he was able to go from, 0 to 5 to 10K a month within, 1 to 2 months. He was doing $1,000 days. The reason for that is that level of obsession, that level of discipline, that level of, I will do whatever it takes to win. That's super important if you're coming in with no degree, no experience, and being young. So the best takeaway here is build a professional work ethic, not just I'll try it out and see if it works mindset. Track your performance like an athlete tracks progress, and master the boring stuff. All the things that you don't feel like doing, that's where consistency lives. And once I built discipline, I realized something even more powerful. It's not just about working harder, it's about working on the right things and learning from the right people. This is extremely underrated. Free information is never free. It charges you in the one currency that you can't refund: time. And most of you watching this will be young, 18, 20, 30 years old. A lot of us underestimate the value of time. I wasted months trying to figure it out alone. YouTube gave me information, videos, and I'm sure you can relate to this. How to make money online, how to get rich online. I would be the guy that searched for hours watching video after video. But once I actually invested in a mentor, people who were where I wanted to be, I stopped guessing and actually started executing it with precision because they've already walked the path that I wanted to go. They've already achieved what I wanted to have. And I'll give you a live example of this, right? Let's go like back in the day. I'm talking 1800s, 1700s, like real back in the day, hundreds of years ago. We still had doctors. We still had engineers. We still had architects. They might have been in some other names and other forms, but we still had these professions, and there was no university. There was no really established colleges, and a lot of people didn't even get to go and study these things. So where did we learn these skills? We learned it from our family. And at the end of the day, hundreds of years ago, if your dad was a doctor, you pretty much can be a doctor as well because you learn from your dad. And then your son becomes a doctor, and then your son becomes a doctor, and then it literally goes down the hill from there because you're learning from each other. Now, the sad reality is in the modern world, not all your dads aren't going to be business owners. All your dads aren't going to have money. All your dads aren't going to have what you want to have. So what do we need to do? We need to go and find people that actually are where we want to be. And that is why the best decision I ever made at 18 years old was I joined my first ever sales mentorship with all the money that I had at the time. I had $3,000 in my account, 3,200 to be exact, and I went all in and took that leap of faith. And it was very scary. It was very, very nerve-wracking, but that investment taught me what it took others years to learn from personal experiences. It's like having like a mini dad. Within 60 days, 90 days, I made that investment back, but more importantly, I actually went on to do 10K a month, 40K a month, even more than that. So that investment has paid off 10, if not 100-fold. So at the end of the day, stop trying to save money, start saving your time. And the fastest way to grow is to pay for that perspective. And your mentor is the shortcut that you've been pretending to act like it doesn't exist. Sweet. Now, once you've learned the skills, the systems, and the mindset, and you have someone who's already been there, there's one final shift that you need to make that will help you make 6 figures sustainable. It's the fact that you don't need freedom from work. You need more fulfillment through work. A lot of people chase freedom because they hate what they do. I built freedom because I love what I do. Helping people solve problems through sales, actually getting into a high income skill. I wasn't running away from the boss. I was running towards mastery. And the reason I never burnt out is because my work gave me energy, not just income. And I'll give you a live example of this. I remember when my friends would ask me, Kashi, do you ever take a vacation, bro? Do you ever take a weekend off? Do you ever take a break? And I'd laugh because my life wasn't something that I needed to escape from anymore. And that's when I realized I'd made it. I would literally say things like, dude, what do you mean? I'm having a blast. This is fun. This is what I love to do. I love self-developing. And that's when I realized that I haven't just developed financially, but I've also self-improved mentally. So the biggest takeaway here is don't chase comfort. Don't chase, freedom because you hate what you do. Go into something that you love and fall in love with the game of self-development and becoming the best possible version of yourself. So don't chase passive income. Chase real businesses. Build a life that you don't need vacation from. And when you align your skill, impact, and purpose, multiple 6 figures becomes a baseline and not just a dream. So yeah, those are the 5 main principles that I've learned on my journey from 0 to 40K a month and making multiple 6 figures a year. And that should show you that you don't need a degree, you don't need connections or a fancy title or rich parents to hit 6 figures. You just need skill, discipline, and guts to bet on yourself. And the traditional path teaches security, but security and success rarely live in the same neighborhood. Stop waiting for approval and honestly start executing on your own plan. And from this video, I'm obviously a perfect example of this, but it's not just me. I've helped dozens of students go from 0 to 10, 20, 30, 40K a month with a high income skill. So I know this is true because I've seen it in other people. And all my friends in this industry do the exact same thing. So at the end of the day, stop waiting on the sidelines and just take a bet on yourself and go all in because while you're young is the best time to start. Other than that, I hope you got some good value from this video and learned some new things that you haven't learned before. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.